It's not often you have a college kicker make a position change, much less to a hard-hitting position like tight end. It is the case for two Michigan State football players in recent years, and Tyler Hunt and Evan Morris. Morris made this transition nearly 4 years ago without a guarantee he would see much playing time. Our Tyler Driesinga caught up with the fifth-year senior this week and has more on how he is cherishing the little moments here at MSU.
Evan Morris grew up in Elsie, a small town just a half hour away from East Lansing. Morris was a talented soccer player as a kid and quickly found that talent translated as a kicker on the football field.
I think might have been my 6th grade year or something like that. The coolest thing that I still remember to this day was, I think we lined up for like a 30-yard, 35, 40-yard field goal, something, crazy at that age, of course. And I had made it, and I remember the varsity coach, Travis Long, came up to me. He's like, you keep doing that, and you'll start for us on varsity. And I was like, whoa, man, well,
Morris did grow up to play for Coach Long at Ovid Elsie, both as a kicker and as a tight end and defensive end. Through his days there and through competing at various national kicking camps, Morris became a Division I prospect. And when MSU gave him an opportunity, the lifelong Spartan fan didn't wait long to commit.
As soon as they said, you can come here as a walk-on, I think it was within, 5 minutes. I called my mom, called my dad. I'm like, hey, I'm going to MSU. I'm going to MSU. I'm so, this has been my dream school since I've, been a little boy.
Morris kicked off for the Spartans in 2 games as a freshman in 2019. But when the 2020 season began, Morris had made a position change from kicker to tight end, a change that was initially suggested by his friends.
I never thought, that I would at least have the opportunity to do it. I was always too afraid to be like, hey, can I try this out? But so if you would have told me when I first came here, I would have said no shot. But after a while, I was, a lot of people started saying it, so I started somewhat believing it.
At what point did a coach come to you with the idea of making that transition, and were you hesitant at all at first?
Well, funny thing was, a coach didn't come up to me.
You went up to a coach?
I went up to a coach.
The coach was Ted Gilmore, the Spartans tight ends coach, who was hired after Morris's freshman year.
Got his attention, and I said, hey, is there any, I'm thinking about trying out a little bit of tight end. Is there any way that I could, step in for a few practices and try this out? And he immediately goes, how much do you weigh? And I lied, and I said I was 20 pounds heavier. I was like, I'm about 230, 240, I've been working out, whatnot. And he said, he reached out, and he said, yeah, why don't you kind of, step in for a few practices, and we'll see how it goes.
What was the hardest part of making the transition from kicker to tight end at the collegiate level?
The biggest thing that I always say is it's not and that was a huge realization to me, was it's not the athletic differences between one person to another, but can you mentally be there, and do you have that mindset and the ability to perform consistently? So the biggest part for me was I struggled mentally for the longest time.
Morris's transition to tight end has been a long process. For years, most of his playing time came on special teams, but he played 8 snaps at tight end last season, and in the season opener this fall, he made his first career catch. The 4-yard play may have seemed insignificant to most, but to Morris, it validated years of hard work.
The one thing that I want to do is to be able to contribute, to be able to be in the record books, being able to, if you look at, be on a piece of paper of like, if you look at this game, at this day, whatever, this year, you'll see that, you'll see my name. Just so insignificant to other people, but I want to be able to kind of go down in history for MSU and be able to contribute.
A chance to contribute. It sounds simple, but that chance in this uniform is what Evan Morris has been working for his whole life.
I know this has been a trying season in a lot of ways, but this is still a dream come true for you, isn't it?
Yeah, this is, I can't even, like I said, it's all I've wanted to do was to, be on that field and be kind of valued and, being able to contribute to as, while being a Spartan and being a, MSU football player. I grew up watching these guys, and I don't say too much, but my mom and dad mostly say that they're proud of me, but I guess I am pretty proud of myself that I'm able to, come from Ovid Elsie, a really small high school, and come here as a kicker and then transfer to tight end, and even without having the team success, I think I have had my fair share of individual successes.
And if 12-year-old you could see what you've become and what you've accomplished throughout your football career, what would he say about it all?
Well done. I think he'd say, you know, something simple. Well done. Yeah. Well done. Good job. Nothing too much. Just, yeah, good job.
Morris did say he always thought his first catch would be a beautiful moment where he'd make it, look up, and just take in the atmosphere. That wasn't exactly the case, though, for him, as he was battling a knee injury, and that was the only thing he was worried about when he made his first career collegiate catch. But we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be chatting with interim head coach Harlan Barnett about how Michigan State can close the gap after last week's loss to Ohio State. We'll see you soon.
This segment is sponsored by the Lansing Sports Commission.